Welcome to this explainer. Today we're talking about something that literally shapes the ground beneath our feet. Before we jump into brand new town planning sessions kicking off this fall 2026, which is going to build our town's blueprint for 2028, we need to take a quick look back. We absolutely have to recapitulate the foundations of the North Yarmouth 2018 Comprehensive Plan. Because by understanding exactly how we plan to manage growth back then, you'll be perfectly equipped to help shape where we're going next.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're breaking this vast municipal framework down into 5 quick pillars. 1. The 2018 Town Vision. 2. Guiding village center growth. 3. Preserving our rural character. 4. Investing in public facilities. And 5. Preparing for the 2028 plan.
All right, Section 1, the 2018 Town Vision.
Every great plan has to start with a foundational identity, right? An honest look at who a community is. Well, the 2018 plan kicks off with these words. The town of North Yarmouth recognizes and seeks to maintain its unique character as a largely rural town that is in close proximity to urban centers and related services. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the inherent tension it highlights. The town was facing a massive balancing act. They were trying to figure out how to grow sustainably and attract the right kind of commercial growth while fiercely protecting that historic country charm.
To truly get the 2018 plan, we really have to look at the severe challenges that made it necessary in the first place. For 3 decades, North Yarmouth saw steady suburban growth. It makes sense. Reasonable housing costs, a stellar school district. But the town was managing all this rapid growth with very limited resources. We're talking limited administrative staffing, no local police protection, and a fire rescue department that was almost entirely volunteer. Plus, there was a very real threat of suburban sprawl, just erasing natural resources, especially since there were no municipal sewer systems to support dense growth. Honestly, bridging the divisiveness over how to handle these exact issues, that was the central hurdle for the 2018 committee.
Moving on to Section 2, Guiding Village Center Growth.
So, to manage those daunting challenges, the plan proposed a pretty dramatic shift in zoning strategy. Instead of just letting housing sprawl out evenly across the entire map, which, let's face it, eats up a lot of land, the goal was to direct new development to where the town actually wanted it. They wanted a vibrant, walkable, mixed-use village center to emerge. And the logic here is incredibly sound. You want development where land is already developed and where public services like public water and sidewalks can be provided cost-effectively. It was a real game-changer for town planning.
Which brings us to Section 3, Preserving Our Rural Character.
If building a village center was the first half of the mandate, the second half was aggressively protecting the town's natural resources and working lands. And this brilliantly illustrates how they balance that dual mandate. Look at the numbers. The plan set an explicit goal to cluster 60 to 70% of all new residential dwellings right in the village center areas over the next decade. Conversely, they put a hard cap on the rural spaces, making sure a max of 30 to 40% of new homes would go into the farm and forest district. By clustering the growth in the center, they actively took the pressure off the rural areas.
So the crucial point is how they actually made this happen on the ground. The plan outlined some very specific, actionable strategies. First up, they proposed a tax increment financing, or TIF program. This was absolutely crucial to help offset the heavy infrastructure costs needed in the center. Second, they aimed to create a fabrication special district near the Walnut Hill Business Park. This was to encourage light manufacturing, and it relied on mandatory advanced wastewater treatment systems to keep the groundwater perfectly safe. Finally, they threw their support behind establishing a new rural hamlet with a neighborhood commercial center right at the intersection of routes 231 and 115. It was a smart way to broaden the tax base without sacrificing environmental standards.
Okay, Section 4, Investing in Public Facilities. Now, land use strategies and zoning are great, but what does this all mean for the everyday amenities of North Yarmouth residents? Well, to figure that out, the committee went straight to the people. Check out this data from the 2016 survey. Those heavy red and orange bars you see, those represent needs improvement and needs expanding. The data showed a massive community demand for better broadband, action on the Memorial School facility, and a dedicated community center. It proves that the policies in the 2018 plan weren't just made up in a vacuum. They were born directly from what neighbors actually wanted.
Let's move to and see how this builds into something tangible. Here is the architectural vision for the West Costogo Hall and North Yarmouth Community Center, built right at that former Memorial School site everyone cared so much about. This facility is the literal, physical manifestation of the plan's goal. It created a gathering place for all ages, offering learning, cultural, and recreational opportunities right in the heart of town. It hit the nail on the head.
And finally, Section 5, Preparing for the 2028 Plan.
As we pivot from looking back to looking ahead, we really need to remember that municipal planning isn't just a one-and-done thing. It's an ongoing civic duty. And it's so important to understand that a comprehensive plan isn't some strict legal ordinance. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a living framework. It guides budget decisions and future growth strategies. But because it's a living document, it relies completely on active community engagement to actually work. Which brings us to the biggest takeaway of this entire explainer. Planning for the new 2028 framework starts this fall of 2026.
So I want to leave you with a direct challenge. As we gear up for the fall 2026 planning sessions, take this baseline knowledge you've refreshed today and bring it to the table. Ask yourself, based on how North Yarmouth has evolved since 2018, what from this original plan needs to stay and what absolutely needs to change for 2028? Your voice is literally the final, crucial ingredient in this whole process. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy planning!